Good day and welcome back to my channel. So in this one we're going to go ahead and get into some of the customized work. Short version is I'm going to go ahead and attack basically the base of the boat, but then I really need to rip into getting the custom parts done, specifically the seats, and starting looking at how to do the overall canopy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on the seats and how I go after them, and well, let's just go ahead and get to it. All right, so the mold came out for the bench. All right, so essentially that's it, and I have some resin. It's been sitting around for a while. I was kind of wondering if this was going to last, since this has been sitting for a while. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the Smooth Cast 305, see what we can get. So I'll throw a couple casts and see what we end up with. So this is Smooth Cast 305. It's basically a volume part A, part B, 2-part resin, and essentially all I did is I needed one syringe full of each one of these to do one load of the bench. So basically I take one pull out of A, one pull out of B on their own syringe, mix it in that one cup, and then pour it into the mold, and then I get a bench. All right, and the first cast has come out, and given that we're talking about old resin and a quickie cast, it actually doesn't look bad. So what I will do is I will now throw another 17 of these guys. A little bit of cleanup on this guy. Right, so there's cleanup to do on the edge of him. Sand down this bottom, because right now this is a little bit of an overcast right here, right? You can see it's still a bit soft. It's still curing up a bit, but what it will give is it will give what I need. And even these bubbles right here, I can throw in some a little bit of finish to fill those in. And then when that happens, it'll have that used leather, vinyl, whatever look. But I've got what I need. This is gonna look all right. Okay, make 17 more of those guys. All right. So done. It's the original, and there are the extras. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of them. So 16 of these things made. I need to clean them all up. Essentially, I need to trim the edges, sand the bottom down real quick, and then and then probably go back, hit them with primer just to see what holes show, what don't. But I want them to kind of look a little bit beat up. Now, what shape I want this thing to be in, we'll see when I get there. But essentially these are what I needed, and it saved me having to scratch build them all and make them all look the same. So we'll get those cleaned up. Now I'm going to move on to finishing off the undercarriage. Now the other thing, that's possibly the other thing I've done. Now I've gotten the undercarriage completed, and well, actually, excuse me, the drivetrain completed, not the undercarriage. So we've got the underside done. Now, what I also need to do is get to, there we go. So now that these are done, what I feel like I would like to do is go back and, when you look at the pictures of Norside Nelly, everything was black. They all look black. What I would like to do is go back and do up the tires in rubber tires. So I've hit the main part of it in black, but I think what I'd like to do is go back and paint the tires in sort of an off black, and then just that'll make them look a little better in my opinion, right? So that guy will go in there. And then, but what also I could do is I could also mount the suspension onto the duck boat. I did just now hit the bottom of it with its first coat of yellow. I'm going to hit it one more. I'll show you that here in a minute. But once I do that, right, I get those in. What I also need to do is I need to get the propeller and rudder put on, and then drop those in. So we'll get those knocked out and then be back. Okay, so the base coat's down, and I've masked off the interior, so we can go ahead and pull this guy out. Now I know that essentially all I'm going to be able to do here is hit this with base coat too, but I've got the main color blocking in, which is what I was after, right? So next up will be mask this off so I can hit this with a shot. Now the interior color is gray or black, but I'm going to go ahead and do German field gray, right? Something else I noticed is this guy is turned around here. So this one, this on the duck boat tour, this bench is turned around. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut that out or not, because that was all integral to that piece. I could just ignore it and drop it this way, but kind of thinking what I might do is put a platform there so I can just turn that around, because he sits up. I might just do that. So that's in. At this point, once these pieces dry off, I can go ahead and drop those in, drop these in, drop this in, wheels, and then I can just start, working things up. So actually this goes this way, yeah. So I've got that much done. This is, that goes that way. Haha. Yeah, there we go. So those will slide in. Interesting. There's a gap. I'll figure it out. But we'll get that put in and move on. So what I need to do now is start figuring out this. So I figure the next thing I need to do is basically get the base paint, or the base color laid in, and then I can figure about how I want to go ahead and handle doing all the rest of the details. But I can do that before I put these on. So yeah, it's kind of like jumping around, but it's where we are at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and get cracked in on painting the that's what I'm looking for. Come on, guys. Seats. There we go. Getting the seats figured out. And go from there. All right. Okay. With that masking done and then painted, okay. I'm actually kind of happy with where I am. Now the entertaining stuff begins. Now this is the seats as they look primered. No, I didn't bother painting underneath because there's really no point. But they're going to park back here. May even modify one of these, like take that piece off so that slides right there, right? But there are 6 of them. They go down in a row. So if I drop these guys in, right, they're going to get to like there. And they really did sit close. So there are 6. Right, so I do need this one to be back here. So that's where they'll sit, and that will get me those. And then, like I said, the one that's turned around, I'm going to do it that way, so I can put the gear shift in. So now I can start putting the detail parts in there, and I can start building up the interior. Once I've done that, then I can build the exterior up and around it. And I'm kind of thinking still on the fence as far as whether I want to go ahead and put the undercarriage on so I can do all that sitting on the wheels. Probably do, so I don't scuff up the underneath. Oh, this part right here. So looking at the front of Norside Nelly, right? I went ahead and that was just card and grading. So I figured, that. Is it perfect? No. And the other thing I'm going to say, and I've probably said this a couple of times throughout this entire series, but I'm doing an approximation. I'm not going to look to make it absolutely perfect or a specific exact duplicate of what exactly it was. So I'm not going to be looking for the microscopic details to be absolutely perfect, but I'm going to be doing the best I can. So that said, I actually didn't think I was going to like this color. I really did not. But yeah, I kind of do now. It's going to be fun to weather. And I believe the back deck on Norside Nelly was black, but I'm going to leave this yellow simply because it's going to be fun to weather. So we'll go ahead and we'll get cracked in on that and move on. Doing the upper side, basically what I need to do is build the framework for the cage. Call it a cage, but really it's just a framework for the cover. And so I built the main struts, put crossbars like you can see here, and I was just using Instaset, and that basically will just hold it temporarily. But that lets me get these pieces in so that I can glue them up, make the framework be solid, and then I have something to work with. And that's really what I was after. Okay, so what we've done is with what we saw in those pictures is I've got the basic framework done. And so let's talk about that for a second. There's there's at least 3 different configurations I see on Norside Nelly. And I figure like every year they kept swapping them out. So it looks like they've done the backup several different ways and so on. So I'm just going to pick one and roll with it. And I'm going to be happy with essentially the configuration I put her in, and we'll go with there. So what I've got here is the top setup. And then with this laid out, next thing to do will be to put the canvas tarp over it. And I was just going to put plastic, but I think with the way it looks like it is a it's what I'm looking for, canvas, right? So it looks like it's a canvas top. So I'm going to go ahead and use paper shaper and paper and do that in 1 second. I thought I had it right here. Here it is. Here it is. So I'm going to try this stuff again. I used this once on one tank, but this is paper shaper. And essentially what you do is you soak paper in it, and it makes it pliable, and it actually does a good tarp rendition. So the idea here is to put the canvas tarp over, and then there's also rolled up drop down sides. Now the sides actually have like windows in them, but there's also opaque bottoms. So I'm just going to do a roll that looks like a roll and strap it up and hang it from here so that it looks kind of like this. Right, so it looks kind of like that picture. So now that this is pretty well stable, what I can do, and having used this stuff to glue here, that let all this stuff tighten up. So now this is well done. So I can pull this off and paint it and do that kind of stuff. For the back. Now the back, again, there's different looks to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these, and these are fire escape. These were fire escape rails. And the idea here is to drop these guys in here. Right, what I want to do is drop them here, and I'll put another bar right there to tighten that up. and take that around. Now these are black, these are yellow, these are black. So I need to paint these yellow, paint those black and get those in. The chairs, now I do have 2 chairs, here we go, that I started doing using the bracings, right? So I dropped these guys in, and the height of the bars is right about to the size of the chair. Right, so, and with this, it works out to be just about right. So with that, and then where's the other one? There's 2. Oh, there's the other guy. Here he is. Right. And the seats are red. So what I can do is I can go back behind these, do these up in, do the vinyl in red. But this does kind of give you an idea what the back's going to look like. Now again, I'm not going to be, I know I'm not going to be specific to what, you know, like down to the exact detail, but this is going to be pretty close, and that's kind of where I'm going with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and get cracked into this. What I need to do is add these legs to all of the chairs so that I can put them all in here. And what they are essentially these toothpicks. I think this one's been scored, if I can get the thing to, should have been scored. In there somewhere. Ah, wait, no, here they are. This is one that's been scored. Here we go. That one's been scored for the length of each of the legs. So I need to go back and do legs for all of the chairs, get them all attached so that I can get those painted. Then I also need to sort of pop this off so I can paint it, build all the inside here, and get into that. And then I can start detailing the outside. So we're going to go ahead and get cracked into that. Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and call this one video done. There's still more to do, obviously, but I'm getting started on, got the basic idea for the canopy done. So I'm going to go ahead and in the next one, we'll go ahead and we'll really attack that now that we've got, you know, the basics for the customized work for the seats in the passenger compartment. So hope this video was entertaining, useful, and, you know, fun to watch. If you have any suggestions, hints, whatever, please feel free, put them down below. Just, again, keep them respectful. And until next time, thank you for watching, and happy modeling.